Boxing listeners, we've got Irish manager Gary Hyde. Now, many people know Gary, who is the manager of Guillermo Rigondeaux. Gary, last week, or over the course of the last 2 weeks anyway, there's been a lot of kind of back and forth. Leo Santa Cruz has made me very vocal, saying that he was wanting to face Rigondeaux next after his last fight. He's come out now and stated that $3 million payday is what's required. He's now been practically sold off by Golden Boy to Al Heyman. Can you give us the full rundown as to what's happened here and what happened in negotiation, if there were any talks that were ongoing at the time?
Yeah, well, I never really believed Santa Cruz when he said he wanted to fight. But then Oscar De La Hoya mentioned he put a press release out that he was very interested in making the best fight the best, and in that meaning that he wanted Rigondeaux to fight Santa Cruz. So he reached out to us and he spoke to our attorneys and ourselves, and all on our side we all wanted to fight. So did Rigondeaux, of course, and De La Hoya wanted to fight in Golden Boy. But at that stage, Santa Cruz didn't. He went very quiet. He wasn't coming forward and saying he was going to take the fight. And next thing we hear is that Al Heyman has bought out the contract. So that's everything up in the air. Then again, we were in negotiations, talking about a date and talking about purses and stuff like that, and then the carpet was pulled from under us.
What have you reached out to Al Heyman anyway, Gary, to try and get the talks back on the road again?
No, but we'll be reaching out to Al Heyman this week.
Right. Okay. So you are still looking at that fight.
Yes.
If not, if you can't get that fight, obviously it looks like Frampton's he's fighting obviously next month or the end of this month. Sorry. Your own personal opinion is you think Frampton would take the fight, but you think he's been held back possibly?
Yes, he's been protected, of course. Like McGuigan's have protected him, and they have him wrapped up at the moment, and he's not going to fight Rigondeaux. I mean, he beats everybody else, but he knows that Rigondeaux is the big master there. That he's not going to take him on.
What about Scott Quigg? I mean, has there been any talks with Eddie Hearn possibly with that one, or is it just a strictly no?
Yeah, but Scott has said as well that he would be interested down the road. Now, I know he's out with an injury at the moment, and he's looking at a massive fight with Frampton, which obviously makes more sense for him. Fighting someone like Frampton it's going to be a good fight for him, and it's a fight that he'd fancy himself as having a better chance than he would against as Rigondeaux.
Just going back to Leo Santa Cruz, Gary, although it's a very light division, basically, obviously it doesn't really get a lot of TV airtime, like obviously in the States, etc. as well. Do you really believe, even though if Santa Cruz was serious about the fight, do you honestly believe that someone would pay him $3 million to actually make that fight?
Chance. No. He's like Santa Cruz is the B side of this fight, regardless of who's his promoter. He's the B side of the fight. I mean, he's Rigondeaux is the main man, and Santa Cruz then he's the B side of it. So there's no way he's getting $3 million for the fight.
No problem.
Not a chance.
I'm just going to hand you over to my colleague Kyle, who is obviously wanting to ask you about Rigo's future as well. Kyle, mate?
Yeah.
Hello, Gary. Basically, after the Amagasa fight, hello there were some rumours after the Amagasa fight that Rigo had been offered another bout in Japan. Could you elaborate on that? And were there any offers for him to return to Japan?
Yeah, well, right now, Shingo Wake is the guy we were supposed to fight over there. Shingo Wake, they call him. Shingo Wake or Shingo Wake is a super bantamweight over there, and he has said openly that he wanted to fight Rigondeaux. Now he fights the 27th of February in Tokyo, and if he comes through that and everything comes right, they'll be reaching out to us then, and we'll be reaching out to them as well, of course. And we'd be making a fight here, because there's nothing else for Rigondeaux right now. There's nobody else out there will fight him, and we have to go to Asia for it.
Thanks for that. That was going to be my next question, because I did assume it might have been weight. There's been a lot of talk as well about Rigo possibly moving up to featherweight with a kind of rehydration clause. Is there any chance of him where he's not a huge super bantamweight? I believe he only puts on at most £4 after the weigh-in. Is there any chance he might be dropping down to bantamweight to fight possibly Yamanaka in Japan, who's obviously a big star over there at the moment at bantamweight?
Yeah, well, Yamanaka said that he might move up as well. So like there might be, but there might be no need to go down. But like everything we have to go where the fights are, and if it means going down to bantamweight, then we can do it. I mean, Rigondeaux, like one of his weigh-ins, he was like 119 pounds, and he said, hey, what went wrong there? So like he just said, I didn't eat the last 24 hours or something. And he was 119 pounds, so he can cruise in at 118. Now, to answer the first part of your question, is that he won't be fighting 126. He will not fight 126. Not when I'm managing him anyway. Not on my watch, because he's a small guy. He'll give away, even if he did fight at that weight, he would give away all his power. He'd give away all his, he'd just give away everything if he's fighting at 126. And I'll be keeping it 122. Or, as you just said, down to 118 if there's a fight there.
Thanks, Gary. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Guy.
Gary, just before we move on from Rigo, was there any second day weigh-in at the Amagasa fight? Because the guy was absolutely huge compared to Rigondeaux, and that says that after that fight as well, is that I think that kind of probably dispels any talk about him moving up to featherweight. Because it says that Yamagata was a very, very big guy in that ring.
Yes, well, Yamagata, I think he was like 16 or 17 pounds heavier than Rigondeaux on the night of the fight. There wasn't an official weigh-in, but there was a weigh-in that day, but it wasn't official. But he was 17 pounds heavier than him on the night of the fight. And, like he was 5'10.5". Rigondeaux is like just tiny next to him. And that's, I mean, when he did get dropped in the seventh round there, when he got caught, he was caught square, and it was just like a pole that hit him. The arm was just so long, and he's usually able to get away from those guys, because when he's over that far away from an opponent, they haven't got arms the length of Yamagata, but like this guy had long arms, and he just caught him, and he caught him off balance, and he went down. He was not one bit hurt. Now, in fairness, after that, when they were in a bit of a clinch, Yamagata caught him, and he did hurt him that time. Now, he pushed him to the ground then, so it shouldn't have been a knockdown, but he was genuinely hurt the second time. But the first time he wasn't hurt at all.
Finally, Gary, as well as obviously we talk about Rigo's next fight possibly being in Japan. Is there any future plans, obviously, to bring him to the UK or Ireland again? Not
unless there was a Frampton or Scott Quigg,
right.
And not unless any of those two called him out or said they wanted to fight him. That's it. He wouldn't. There's no one else to come back here. I mean, unless there's a local star from Ireland or from the UK. There's no need to bring him back here.
Hey Gary, I just want to know, how frustrating is it to have such a great talent on your hands and the other so-called champions they just don't want to get in with him for whatever reason? I mean, it's not a good look for the sport when they just don't want to mix themselves with the best, to be honest.
Yeah, it's actually terrible, I mean, first of all, at the start you think, oh, it's great, everybody's afraid of him, but you think there's something going to happen, something's going to give. But then, they continue to say that, oh, no, he's not in our plans, he doesn't sell tickets, all this old crap, I mean, how many, like Frampton's promoter, manager, trainer, and advisor, McGuigan, said that he doesn't sell tickets, and he doesn't sell tickets in Miami, so why would we bring him to Belfast? No, how many tickets did Kiko Martinez sell in Belfast? How many tickets is Avalos going to sell? Mm-hmm. I mean, yep. when you look at the Belfast public who really know the boxing, they would turn out in their thousands, double what turned up for Kiko Martinez if it was a Rigondeaux fight. This is a major fighter. And like McGuigan to just fob him off like that. I mean, that's the utmost disrespect and disgusting out of him.
It's just excuses, isn't it?
Yes, that's it.
I was going to add to that, Gary, as well. I was going to add to that. Sorry, just to say is that was the same reasoning or the same thinking behind Leo Santa Cruz. He's basically pull out from the fight because his dad claimed the same thing. He said basically as Rigondeaux has got a born style, etc. I mean, that is just one way of basically hiding from the fact that your man's basically onto a beating.
That's it. He must have been reading McGuigan's comments, you know. You know, so like, I mean, there was nothing boring when Rigondeaux fought Donaire. There was certainly nothing boring when he fought Yamagasa. You know, I mean, okay, when he fought Becco, that was questionable, but at the same time, Becco just didn't come to fight.
No.
He just came. He had so much going on with contracts and disputes and people suing him. He just came to turn up, and he just turned up and got the few bob, and that was it. You know, he didn't come to fight. He wasn't the same like Becco that we say that we're used to seeing. You know, and he felt Rigondeaux's power in the start of the fight, and that was the end of him. He just wanted to survive. You know, and Rigondeaux can't be blamed for that. I mean, small guy, very deceiving because he's so small and he's light looking. So, you know, but when you get punched from him, like, you know, they know, like, they know they're in serious danger. Like, I mean, Donaire said he was never hit as hard as him. He told this to one of Top Rank's right-hand men. You know, he said he was never hit so hard as he was hit from Rigondeaux. And he said it was a stinging, crisp bang, like, and he said he'd never hit so hard. He said he pulled him down to the ground one time. He said he was out that time, you know. So like he just put a masterclass on against one of the top pound for pound fighters in the world, and then Bob Arum knocked him. HBO jumped on the bandwagon, and then you know, we just they just all turned against him. Then, you know.
Yeah. Moving on, Gary, obviously a couple of your fighters, Yuri Kalenga, you know, his last fought in November in Canada. One of our listeners was actually asking, you know, about that fight, you know, just to hear your thoughts on it, and apparently as well there was a lot of racism in the crowd as well towards Kalenga. I wonder if you can expand on that slightly.
No, geez, I didn't see any anything like that now, right? Racism, I didn't see anything like that. Where would that come from? I mean, with colour or because he was from France? Because like his opponent was he was a black guy as well, you know. So like I didn't see anything at all like that. Nothing.
No problem. Kyle, you wanted to ask about Lebedev.
Indeed, Gary. Yeah, Gary, I'm a massive fan of the cruiserweight division at the moment. It's on fire. Kalenga is obviously a beast. I read something recently saying you really wanted to get the fight with Lebedev in the States. However, obviously, Lebedev's promoter is a very affluent guy, very rich guy. It might be hard to get it over there. What are your plans to try and make the belt?
Well, you know, the funny thing about this is that we're dealing with two very rich people, you know, like Michael King is a multi-billionaire, and he's Kalenga's promoter. And he's Hassan Nadan's promoter as well. So he has called for an immediate purse bid last week because he couldn't deal with Lebedev's people. So he called for an immediate purse bid, and that's where we're standing right now. There's going to be a purse bid in the next 2 or 3 weeks. There'll be a purse bid for it.
Brilliant! I really hope to see that fight this year. It's going to be a cracker.
Oh, that's going to be a humdinger for sure.
No doubt.
Alex?
Recently this week, I think it was just yesterday or a couple of days ago, we saw Jermaine Taylor get stripped of the IBF belt. We know that another of your fighters, Hassan Ndam, he's the number one spot. He's the mandatory for it, basically. I think he's been ordered that he's got to fight Felix Sturm, but a lot of people are suggesting that Sturm isn't going to take that fight. What are your thoughts on it? Yeah,
we know that Sturm has got other obligations. I think that like there's definitely talk about a fight with Abraham, if Abraham comes through with Paul Smith in the end of the month. Mm-hmm. So you know, like we're being told that he's already obligations to fight Abraham, and I definitely think like that it's going to be a case of maybe David Lemieux or else stepping over him. He's got legal problems with Yvonne Michel. Stepping over him, then Sam Solomon has just wrote to the IBF and said that he's fully recovered now from his injuries that he had in his fight against Jermaine Taylor. So it's in my opinion, it'll probably be Solomon, you know, because I just think that's where it's going to fall.
What about Billy Joe Saunders? I think he's rated third or something, isn't he?
Yes, well, I think Billy Joe's waiting for the winner of Andy Lee and Quillen. But in the meantime, Frank Warren just won a purse bid for Billy Joe Saunders defending his title against Michel Sora from France.
Right, okay.
So Billy seems to be tied up now. He seems to have he've at least one fight lined up, and the negotiations for this will be closed in the next week. We should by this day week we should know exactly who we're fighting.
Okay, excellent.
Gary, just very briefly, if you want to plug your other two fighters, are you still looking after, is it Marcos Forstal, the Cuban?
Yes, Marcus fights his debut on Friday night in Queens, New York, in Long Island. So that's his first fight out, and he should, like Marcus he's going to come right up behind Rigondeaux and probably take over from Rigondeaux when Rigondeaux retires. He's at 122. He's a fine stamp of a lad. He's 5'8", great amateur pedigree. In his last, he was a 3-time Cuban senior champion. And in December 2013, which is only the second last Cuban finals, he beat Robici Ramirez, the London Olympic gold medalist. So he's as good as you get now, to be fair, and he's a great kid to work with. He's training with Joe Goosen in Los Angeles, and I'm very, very high on him. My other fighter, my other new kid on the block is Blagoy Naidenov.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that.
Under 19 world gold medalist, under 17 European gold medalist, and under 19 Olympic gold medalist as well. And he's going to fight at a super middle, and he's making his debut in Cluj, Romania, on the 21st of February.
Right. You just stole my last question there. Actually, I was actually going to ask you about Naidenov as well, Gary. So listen, we really appreciate your time, and hopefully we'll get you back on the show once we know what's happening with Rigondoux's future.
Anytime, and lovely to speak with you.
Thanks a lot, Gary.
Thanks a lot, Gary.
Bye bye.
Cheers, mate.
Thanks very much. Cheers.
Thank you.